Hello everyone. Hope all are doing well. Let me introduce myself. I am Dr. R. Madan Mohan, currently working as an associate professor in the Department of Computer Science and Engineering at Bharat Institute of Engineering and Technology, Hyderabad, India. I am glad and would like to share few insights related to faculty career growth and promotions in engineering and technology, pharmacy, management, and MCA colleges. For entry level, that is assistant professor to assistant professor with senior scale, assistant professor with selection grade, then assistant professor with selection grade to associate professor, and associate professor to professor, then professor to senior professor, then professor or senior professor to principal level. These are all the various levels of promotions. Further, I would like to share few points related to the minimum qualifications and norms for promotions as per the latest AICTE regulations 2019. So let us see the outline of the today's session, what we are going to cover. So first, as part of the minimum qualifications for the appointment of teachers in technical educations as for AICTE regulations 2019. First, entry level pay cadre structure and mode of appointment, then stages of promotion and direct recruitment and mode of selection, then teaching engagement, that is workload, then minimum qualifications for direct recruitment as an assistant professor, then qualifications for assistant professor with senior scale, then qualifications for assistant professor with selection grade, then qualifications for associate professor, then qualifications for professor, then qualifications for promotion to senior professor, then qualifications for direct recruitment of principal or director, then annexure 1 training requirements for promotion of teachers from all the disciplines, then annexure 2 calculation of 360-degree feedback score, then finally AICTE UGC references and references related to training resources. Okay, now as part of entry pay cadre structure and mode of appointment. So the following table shows cadre structure and mode of appointment and entry pay. So designation of teaching faculty starting with entry level assistant professor, the entry pay is 57,700. Then its level denoted with 10. The mode of appointment is direct recruitment. Then second designation, assistant professor with senior scale. The entry pay is 68,900. The level is level 11. Then mode of appointment is through promotion. That means from assistant professor to assistant professor with senior scale. Through promotion, you can enter into this designation. Then assistant professor with selection grade, the entry pay is 79,800. The level is 12. Then this is also through promotion mode. Then associate professor, the entry pay is 1,31,400. Its level is 13A1. The mode of appointment, promotion as well as direct recruitment. Two options are there. Then professor, the entry pay is 1,44,200. The level is 14. The mode of appointment through promotion and direct recruitment. Then senior professor, the entry pay is 1,82,200. The level is 15. Then mode of appointment through promotion. Then principal or director, the entry pay is 1,44,200. Then the level is 14, same as professor. Then mode of appointment through direct recruitment. So these are all the various designations and their entry pay and their levels and their modes of appointment. So then coming to stages of promotion. Stages of promotion or direct recruitment and mode of selection. So as for the above designations, the stages are given below. First, stage 1, which is called as entry level, designation is assistant professor. Then stage 2, assistant professor with senior scale. Then stage 3, assistant professor with selection grade. Then stage 4, associate professor. Then stage 5, professor. Then stage 6, senior professor. So stages of promotion are direct recruitment and mode of selection with various designations. So then the basic workload or teaching engagement as for AICTE norms based on designation wise. The faculty members working in technical institutions under the purview of AICTE shall have an engagement of not less than 40 hours per week, including teaching contact hours and other activities. The work of tutorial or project or research or administration may be distributed among the faculty members as per the need and availability of staff. The laboratory engagement will also be counted towards teaching hours. So as per these requirements, the minimum teaching contact hours for various positions shall be shown in the following table. Okay, for assistant professor, the minimum contact hours per week, including teaching as well as laboratory. So 16 hours. Then associate professor, 14 hours per week. Then professor as well as senior professor, 14 hours per week. Director or principal, 6 hours per week. So teaching engagement of faculty members in degree level institutions. So there is some relaxation of 2 hours per week in teaching contact hours shall be granted to faculty members handling additional responsibilities like HOD or Dean level. Then coming to minimum qualifications for direct recruitment as an assistant professor. So its level is 10. In the above table, we already discussed. So the basic qualifications for engineering and technology institutions. So BE or BTech or BS, that is UG degree, and ME or MTech or MS or integrated MTech in relevant branch with first class or equivalent in any one of the degrees. So these are all the basic qualifications for assistant professor entry level, that is level 10 in engineering and technology institutions. Then for management courses, bachelor's degree in any discipline and master's degree in business administration or PGDM or CA or ICWA or MCOM with first class or equivalent and 2 years of professional experience after acquiring the degree of master's degree. So after master's degree, so 2 years of professional experience is required for management colleges. So next one, coming to pharmacy colleges. So the basic qualifications are for entry level assistant professor, B Pharm and M Pharm in the relevant specialization with first class or equivalent in any one of the 2 degrees. Then MCA colleges, the basic qualifications for entry level assistant professor are BE or BTech or BS and ME or MTech or MS or integrated MTech in relevant branch with first class or equivalent in any one of the degree. So the first point is same as engineering and technology basic requirement for assistant professor level 10. So same assistant professor in engineering and technology is eligible to teach MCA courses also. or there is other criteria. So BE, BTech and MCA with first class are equivalent in any one of the two degrees, either UG or PG. One first class should be required. Or the third category, graduation of 3 years duration with mathematics as the compulsory subject and MCA with first class are equivalent with 2 years of relevant experience after acquiring degree of MCA. So after MCA, 2 years of relevant experience. So these are all the three categories are there. Any category is eligible to teach MCA. Okay, that is the entry level qualifications for assistant professor. Then coming to assistant professor with the senior scale, that is level 10. So the entry pay is 68,900. So the same qualifications as in assistant professor entry level should be satisfied. Qualifications prescribed for the post of assistant professor needs to be satisfied and should have completed minimum training requirements as per the annexure shown at the end. So we will discuss about annexure 1. So minimum training requirements needs to be fulfilled and should have satisfied any one of the below mentioned set of requirements, the three conditions. So same qualification as an assistant professor and minimum training requirements needs to be fulfilled and the following set of requirements, any one of the following mentioned set of requirements needs to be satisfied. So the following table contains three sets. So set 1, total experience 4 years, then number of research publications in SCI journals or UGC or AICTE approved list of journals, 2 publications, then average 360 degrees feedback score out of 10, so 8 to 10. So then, so all these requirements should be fulfilled in the cadre of assistant professor, that is entry level itself. So then you are eligible to promote to assistant professor with the senior scale by following the requirements what we are discussing now. So out of these three sets, any one set needs to be satisfied. Set 2, total experience 5 years. So minimum 1 publication, then the 360 degrees score average 8 to 10. Then the third set experience 5 years, then minimum publications are 2, then the average feedback 5 to less than 8. Now here you can see if experience is more, some relaxation in publications, then some relaxation in feedback. So 1 publication feedback minimum 8 to 10, then 2 publications feedback 5 to less than 8, that is 5 to 7. So any one condition needs to be satisfied, then minimum training requirements needs to be satisfied, then assistant professor entry level qualifications needs to be satisfied for assistant professor senior scale level. So then coming to assistant professor selection grade. In assistant professor itself, there is next level of promotion. So qualifications for assistant professor selection grade, that is level 2, the entry pay is 79,800. So qualifications as prescribed for the post of assistant professor senior scale in the above what we discussed, all the basic requirements needs to be satisfied. Then in addition, same as assistant professor senior scale, minimum training requirements needs to be satisfied and satisfied any one of the below mentioned set of requirements. So here 2 set of requirements are given. So set 1, total experience 4 years, then 1 publication minimum in SI journals or UGC or AICTE approved journals. Then average 360 degrees feedback out of 10, 8 to 10, that is set 1. Or set 2 with total 4 years of experience, minimum 2 publications, then the feedback is 5 to less than 8. If publications are more, the feedback relaxation is there. If publications are less, the feedback minimum 8 to 10. So any one set of requirements needs to be satisfied in addition to the above two conditions. So then coming to qualifications for associate professor. So that is level, associate professor is level 13A1. The entry pay is 1,31,400. So here for associate professor, we are having two options. So one is for direct recruitment and another one with existing position converting to associate professor. So for direct recruitment, the first requirement PhD degree must in the relevant field and first class or equivalent at either bachelor's or master's level in the relevant branch. And at least total 6 research publications in SAI journals or UGC or AICTE approved list of journals, and minimum of 8 years of experience in teaching or research or industry together, total experience 8 years, out of which at least 2 years shall be post PhD experience. After PhD, at least 2 years of experience is required. Overall 8 years experience, out of 8, 2 years after PhD, then minimum 6 research publications and PhD degree is the mandatory. So these are all the requirements for direct recruitment. So then in associate professor level, the second category for promotion of incumbents means existing position faculty. For promotion of incumbents, that is with existing positions. So here also minimum PhD degree in the relevant field and first class or equivalent at either bachelor's or master level, and should have completed minimum training requirements as per the annexure 1, what we'll discuss at the end. So for promotion of incumbents, that means existing positions to associate professor, here needs to be satisfied minimum training requirements also, and should have satisfied any one of the below mentioned set of requirements. So here some requirements are mentioned here. Here 2 sets of requirements are mentioned. Set 1, so total experience 3 years. See, the experience is at assistant professor selection grade level. Assistant professor selection grade level, the experience is 3 years. So then total publications, same in SCI journals or UGC or AICTE approved journals 2. Then average of 360 degrees feedback score out of 10, 5 to less than 8. This is set 1. So all these requirements should be in the cadre of assistant professor selection grade. So with this grade, minimum 3 years experience is required. Then set 2, the same 3 years experience, minimum publication 1. Then publications are less, then feedback is increased. Feedback is 8 to 10. So these are all the 2 sets of requirements. Any one requirement needs to be satisfied in addition to the above requirements. So then next to designation, qualifications for professors. So professors level is 14. The entry pay is 1,44,200. So here also 2 options are there. First one is for direct recruitment. For direct recruitment, PhD degree is must in the relevant field and first class or equivalent at either bachelor's or master's level, and minimum of 10 years of experience in teaching, research, industry. So together or any one itself, total 10 years of experience, out of which at least 3 years shall be at a post of equivalent to that an associate professor. So at associate professor, minimum 3 years of the service is required. Then overall experience 10 years. And the third condition, so third condition here, 2 cases are there. At least 6 research publications at the level of associate professor in SCI, UGC or AICTE approved journals, and at least 2 successful PhDs guided, means awarded as a supervisor or co-supervisor till the date of eligibility of promotion, or either this condition or the following condition. At least 10 research publications at the level of associate professor in SCI journals or UGC or AICTE approved list of journals. So either 6 publications with 2 PhDs successfully awarded, or 10 research publications. So all publications are to associate professor level only. Then these are all for the direct recruitment of professor qualifications. So then here also through promotion, associate professor to professor. So for a promotion of incumbents, that is existing position to professor. So here also PhD degree is must in the relevant field, and first class are equivalent at either bachelor's or master's level, and should have satisfied any one of the below mentioned set of requirements. For direct recruitment, there are no set of requirements, only for promotion of incumbents. So sets of requirements needs to be satisfied. So here the following table shows the sets of requirements. Here three sets are there. Set 1, first PhD guided with the minimum 1, then total overall experience is 15 years, then at associate professor level minimum 3 years of experience, then number of publications 6 in SCI or UGC or AICTE approved list of journals, then average 360 degrees feedback 8 to 10. This is set 1. Then set 2, 2 PhDs guided means successfully awarded, overall experience 15 years, then at associate professor level 3 years of experience, total publication 6, then the feedback is 5 to 7. Then set 3, suppose no PhDs are guiding, then overall experience is 16, total 16 years, then at associate professor 3 years. This is common for all sets. Then total minimum number of publications 4. Then the average 360 degrees feedback is 8 to 10. So now based on your requirements, which set of the requirement is satisfied? So based on that, you have to follow. So then for feedback related, some important points you have to note. So 360 degrees feedback. The feedback obtained every year till the date of eligibility of the next stage shall be taken as an average of all the preceding years added together required for promotion. In case the candidate fails to achieve the maximum feedback score, then the subsequent years may be taken into consideration while dropping the lowest feedback score in any one of the year. So regarding 360 degree feedback, so these are all the important points needs to be remembered. So then next category, promotion to senior professor. So already you are at professor level. So then if you want to promote to senior professor, what are the requirements? Qualifications for promotion to senior professor, this is called as a level 15. The entry pay 1,82,200. So the minimum recurrent PhD degree in the relevant field and minimum 10 years of experience in the cadre of professor. So with the professor cadre, minimum 10 years needs to be completed. And the third condition, here, 3 cases are there. So any one case needs to be satisfied. First one, at least 8 research publications in SCA journals or UGC or AICTE approved list of journals. Should have at least 2 successful PhDs guided, either supervisor or co-supervisor at professor level, or with minimum 8 research publications in the same journals, and should have provided academic leadership as institution head at least for 3 years at the level of professor, any institution level positions, or with the minimum 8 research publications in the same journals, and should have provided educational leadership at a state or national level at least for 3 years at the level of professor. So in C category, the 3 conditions, any one should be fulfilled. So then there is another condition also, that is D. So at least 1 patent should be awarded. Awarded means granted. Or in D, 2 cases, 1 patent should be awarded or granted, or development of one MOOC course applicable at national platforms like Swayam NPTL, AICTE, UGC, MHRD, recognized national platforms. So here some important points needs to remember. The selection of senior professor shall also be based on academic achievements, favorable review of academic, research and administrative work from three eminent subject experts, not below the post of senior professor or professor of at least 10 years of experience. Then the selection shall be based on the 10 best publications and award of PhD degrees to at least 2 candidates under his or her supervision during the last 10 years, and interaction with the selection committee constituted as per this regulation. So these points needs to be considered for promotion to senior professors. So then the next requirement, qualifications for direct recruitment of principal or director. So the level is same as 14 and pay is also same. That is professor pay 1,44,200, but additionally with a special allowance of 6,750 per month is added. So the basic requirements, first PhD degree and first class are equivalent at either bachelor's or master level. Then 2 successful PhDs guided as a supervisor or co-supervisor, and minimum 8 research publications in SCI or UGC or AICTE approved journals. Then minimum 15 years of experience in teaching or research or industry or all together. Out of 15 years of experience, at least 3 years shall be at the post equivalent to that of professor. So at professor level, minimum 3 years of experience is required. Then overall 15 years of experience by satisfying the conditions A, B. Here some important points needs to remember for direct recruitment of principal or director. This position shall be of contractual in nature for 5 years and can be extended for one more term depending upon the performance. Performance assessment shall be carried out through a committee appointed by the affiliating university. After completing the final term, the incumbent, that means with the previous existing position before principal, so the incumbent shall join back his or her parent organization in the previous designation from where he or she has proceeded with the designation as professor or senior professor, as the case may be. Okay, now coming to Annexure 1. So in Annexure 1, the minimum training requirements for promotions of teachers from all the disciplines, like assistant professor to associate professor. So in the previously, whatever the minimum requirements we discussed there, we mentioned one point, minimum training requirements needs to be fulfilled. So now designation wise, what are the training requirements? So that are shown in this annexure. First, training requirements for assistant professor with senior scale. So entry level assistant professor, these requirements not required. So only for assistant professor to promoting assistant professor with the senior scale. So the following training requirements needs to be fulfilled. First condition is 2 weeks of faculty development program in the relevant area, out of which at least one FDP shall be in the advanced pedagogy recognized by AICTE or UGC or TechUp or NITTTR and so on. So as per the institutions, if pharmacy institution, some regulatory bodies, for engineering, for management, for MCA. So recognized by all these. So 2 weeks of faculty development program in the relevant area. So one should be in the advanced pedagogy, or if first condition not satisfying, second condition, 1 week faculty development program as above. So 1 week faculty development program as recognized by the above regulatory bodies, and another one 8 weeks duration MOOCs course through NPTEL AICTE. So that means here one FDP with 1 week duration, then one NPTEL with 8 weeks duration. The second condition. So these two should be satisfied, or 2 weeks of FDP. So if you are having 2 weeks of faculty development program with the minimum 2 weeks duration, out of which at least one should be in the advanced pedagogy. So A or B. Next, you are having other condition also, C, or completed 2 such 8 weeks duration MOOCs courses through NPTEL AICTE. So the previous B condition is one week FDP and one 8 weeks NPTEL AICTE certificate, or 2 8 weeks NPTEL AICTE certificates. That means 2 different NPTEL courses, each with 8 weeks duration. So out of ABC, any one condition needs to be satisfied. Then condition D, this is compulsory. So C, you are having 3 categories: A compulsory, B compulsory. In C, so either A, B, C, minimum one condition needs to be satisfied. Then D, compulsory. So completed minimum 2 weeks of relevant industrial training or professional training. So this is common. First, ABC, any one condition needs to be satisfied. Then this is common. Completed minimum 2 weeks of relevant industrial training or professional training. So, okay, now if you are entry level assistant professor, so by keeping these points in our mind, if you want to promote to assistant professor, senior scale, these are all the requirements needs to be fulfilled. So like that, you have to plan to fulfill all these requirements year-wise. Why? Because so whenever the promotions are taken place, they will consider 3 years average for API score consideration. So then training requirements for assistant professor with selection grade. The same first condition as assistant professor senior scale, 2 weeks of faculty development program in the relevant area recognized by these regulatory bodies, any of these regulatory bodies. Or the second condition, one week faculty development program as the above mentioned, and one 8 weeks duration MOOCs course through NPTEL AICTE. Either condition A or condition B or condition C also there. So what is condition C? Completed 2 such 8 weeks duration MOOCs courses through NPTEL AICTE. So out of ABC, any one condition needs to be satisfied. And same as previous assistant professor senior scale, this minimum 2 weeks industrial training or professional training is mandatory. So then coming to training requirements for professor, associate professor. For associate professor, completion of the following training requirements at the level of assistant professor selection grade. The recent one, assistant professor selection grade. So at this level, the following training requirements needs to be satisfied. Same as assistant professor selection grade, 2 weeks faculty development program in the relevant areas recognized by these regulatory bodies, any one of these regulatory bodies. Or 1 week faculty development program as above mentioned, and one 8 weeks duration MOOCs course through NPTEL AICTE. Either condition A or condition B. Even condition C also same. Completed 2 such 8 weeks duration MOOCs courses through NPTEL AICTE. Out of ABC, any one condition needs to be satisfied. And completed minimum 2 weeks of relevant industrial training or professional training. This is also mandatory. Out of ABC, any one, then D is mandatory condition. These are all the training requirements for associate professor. Then for professor and senior professor, there are no training requirements. So then coming to Annexure 2. So here I will discuss about the calculation of 360 degrees feedback score with sample feedback from sample calculations. So calculation of 360 degrees feedback score depends on the basis of the following parameters. The first parameter, teaching process, maximum weightage 20 points. Then second parameter, students feedback, maximum weightage 25 points. Then departmental activities, maximum weightage 20 points. Then institute activity, maximum weightage 10 points. Then ACR, that is annual confidential report, maximum weightage is 10 points. Then last one, contribution to the society, maximum weightage is 10 points. So out of these parameters with these weightages, finally the grand total of all these parameters weightage is calculated, then that can be converted into 10 points scale. So that is the final 360 degrees average feedback. Okay, now let us see one by one briefly. So the candidate shall submit calculation sheet for each academic year to be considered and a summary sheet exhibiting score on a 10-point scale. First, teaching process, maximum weightage 25 points. The calculation shall be presented in a table as presented in this annexure. One example is included. The table will have the details of courses taught in the academic year and semester wise, then course code, course name, number of scheduled classes, number of actual classes held. Then the total shall be reduced to 25-point scale. That is teaching process. Then the second one, students feedback, maximum weightage is 25. The candidate shall submit average score for each course taught during academic year under consideration on a scale of 25. The average of total of all such scores shall be used. That is the student feedback. Here one sample feedback is also shown at the end. So then the third parameter, departmental activities, maximum weightage is 20. So this section summarizes all the responsibilities assigned by head of the department to a teacher during academic year under consideration through a proper office order. So any responsibility is assigned that should be through a proper office order. So the responsibilities may include like a lab in charge, a timetable in charge, NBA AICTE work, sponsor project, departmental newsletter, etc. These are some of the examples of responsibilities. Any of these responsibilities through proper office order should be given. Then the candidate will earn 3 points per semester for each activity up to maximum of 20 points. Suppose you are handling 3 to 4 responsibilities. For each responsibility, 3 points per semester, but maximum weightage is 20. It can't exceed to 20. These are all departmental activities. The next parameter, institute activity. Institute level activity, maximum weightage is 10. So this section summarizes all the responsibilities assigned by head of the institute to the candidate during the academic year under consideration through a proper office order. This may include responsibilities like head of the department, coordinator, warden, training and placement officer, estate officer, etc. These are all some of the examples of responsibilities. The candidate will earn 5 points per semester for each activity up to maximum 10 points. These are all institute level activities. The next parameter, ACR, annual confidential report, maximum weightage is 10. This can be maintained at institute level, shall have 10 points based on grading. Then the last parameter, contribution to the society, maximum weightage is 10. The candidates involved in different initiatives by AICTE, the candidate will earn 5 points per semester for each activity. The claim should be supported by an office order or official communication from the head of the institute. So these are all the various parameters used for calculation of 360 degrees feedback score. Okay, finally, the grand total of points for all academic years shall be converted to a 10-point scale. So here some important points needs to remember. The activities mentioned in above criterion are just indicative. Principal or director or HOD level may add or remove some of the activities at department and institute level as per the requirements of the institute. Weightage of 10 marks may be given for ACRs, annual confidential reports, maintained at institute level out of 20 marks as for following grading, by following the grades. Okay, now let us see one sample calculation page for calculation of credit points. So this is the form. First page, what it contains: name of the faculty, present position, academic process. First, teaching process. Teaching process maximum weightage 25 points. So one academic year, both semesters needs to be considered. For example, here the sample data 2018-19 first semester, 2018-19 second semester. So first semester 2 courses, second semester 2 courses are handled. Let us assume number of classes scheduled for course 1 42, actual number of classes held 39. Then for course 2, number of classes scheduled 39, number of classes held 38. For second semester course 1, total number of classes scheduled 41, then actual classes held 39. Then second semester second course, total classes scheduled 42, actual classes held 41. So then your number of scheduled classes you can add total, so 164 you will get. Number of actual classes held you can add, you will get 157. So then here, how to calculate these points? So total actual classes 157 divided by total scheduled classes 164. So here you will get some X value. So in X, the maximum weightage is 25. So you can take 25 percentage of X. So then here you will get X as this value 23.93. So for one parameter teaching process like that, the calculation will be done. Like all other parameters also, the similar calculations will be done. So then other parameters here, just the samples are included. For students feedback, maximum weightage is 25. So for one academic year, first semester course 1, the average student feedback on the scale of 25, 22.3. This can be calculated based on the feedback questionnaire. Then second course in the same academic year, let us say 21.8. Then same academic year, second semester, first course, 19.6. Then same academic year, second semester, second course, 22.8. Then you can sum all this, you will get 86.5. Again, you have to convert into 25-point scale. You can take 25 percentage from this. Then you will get the average students feedback. So then the next parameter, departmental activities, maximum weightage is 20. So some of the sample activities related to department are given here. For one academic year, first semester, you are a lab in charge. Then consultancy, you are linked with consultancy or timetable in charge. For example, first semester, you are having 3 responsibilities. Each activity per semester 3 points, 3 points per semester. So total you will get 3 into 3 9. Then second semester same academic year, suppose here you are having 4 responsibilities. Timetable in charge is 1, NBA work, lab in charge, consultancy, 4 activities, 4 into 3 12. So 3 points per semester per activity. Then total 21. So maximum this can be converted into 20 point scale. You can take 20% of 21. That is the final score. So then next activity, institute activities. Maximum weightage is 10. For example, institute level activities examples, HOD or Dean, then coordinator appointed by head of the institute, then organized conference as a coordinator, then FDP or conference conducted. So here HOD or Dean 4 points per semester, coordinator appointed by head of the institute 2 points per semester, then organized conference also 2 points per event. Then for FDP conferences 2, 1 point per event to be divided between all the coordinators involved. These are all institute level activities. Then ARC, annual confidential report maintained at institute level, maximum weightage is 10. So the grading will be based on extraordinary 10, excellent 9, very good 8, good 7, satisfactory 5. So year wise, suppose 2018-19, ACR activity 10 points for extraordinary. It may be one semester, then second semester, very good. So like that. So then finally, average you can consider sum of all this divided by total serial number 4. So then whatever you will get, that is the ACR maintained at institute level. This can be evaluated at institute level. So then next parameter, contribution to the society, maximum weightage is 10. So semester wise activities, for example, induction program, 5 credit points, then Unnat Bharat Abhayan, 5 credit points, yoga classes, blood donation, 5 each. So like that, you have to calculate semester wise whatever the activities, maximum weightage is 10. Whatever the maximum score, that can be converted into 10-point scale. These are all sample calculations of the parameters involved in 360 degrees feedback. Okay, now finally, calculation of credit points summary table for 3 academic years we have to consider. For a teaching process, academic year 1, academic year 2, academic year 3. Then students feedback 3 academic years, the average you need to consider. Then departmental activities 3 academic years. Then institute activities 3 academic years. Then annual confidential report ACR for 3 academic years. Then contribution to the society for 3 academic years. Then academic year wise total weightage is 100. You can calculate what is the total value for 3 academic years, then convert into 10-point scale divided by 10. So here you will get final average 360 degrees feedback. Now the average feedback in the qualification tables we discussed. So here 5 to 7, then 8 to 10. So you can aim for 8 to 10, then some relaxations in publications, experiences you will get. So if you are having sufficient publications and sufficient experience, then minimum 5 to 7 is also enough. Okay, then finally, let us see one sample students feedback given by AICTE. So students feedback form to be used by institutions. Here academic year, course wise, this form needs to be collected. Name of the faculty for that course, semester, then date of feedback. For getting filled in through student. So some of the sample questions. So your grading depends on very poor 1, poor 2, good 3, very good 4, excellent 5. So has the teacher covered entire syllabus as prescribed by the university or college or board? So based on this question, based on the coverage of the syllabus, student will answer. Has the teacher covered relevant topics beyond syllabus? If any faculty covered beyond topics, based on the student will answer. If any faculty not covered any beyond, they may mention poor, like effectiveness of teacher in terms of so technical content or course content, then communication skills, then use of teaching aids. then place on which contents were covered, then motivation and inspiration for students to learn, then support for the development of student skill, practical demonstration, hands-on training, then clarity of explanations of students, then feedback provided on students' progress, then willingness to offer help and advice to students. So these are all the sample questions given by AICTE. By considering this, you can customize, you may add some more questions. That depends on institute requirements. So this is the sample feedback. So here I have collected some references. So where I have prepared this presentation. AICTE UGC References. So this is the AICTE official website. So www.aicteindia.org. So the 2019 revised regulations updated on Saturday, March 2019, that will be available in AICTE website under bulletin board. So the direct link is given. You can copy this link and open any browser. The direct PDF will be displayed. Then UGC regulations on minimum qualifications for appointment of teachers. So minimum standards in higher education in 2018. So UGC was published the final approved regulations. So in this link, that 1111 pages document is there, Gazette notification. So after this, AICTE was released in 2019 by following UGC regulations. So these are all AICTE UGC regulations as per latest revisions. So then minimum training requirements needs to be fulfilled except professor, senior professor level, remaining all levels. So some training resources websites are included here. First one for NPTEL AICTE certificate, Swayam NPTEL. The official website is swayam.gov.in/NPTEL. Then for mandatory AICTE National Initiative for Technical Teachers Training, that is AICTE NITTT. So this is the official scheme document from AICTE website. Then official website for NITTT for registration of the courses. So nittt.ac.in. Then to access after registration, then these courses will be added to Swayam portal. So from Swayam portal, by using the following URL, you can access. That is Swayam NITTT. So online-degree.swayam.gov.in. So then for faculty development related, recently 2 years back, AICTE started. So AICTE Training and Learning Academy, which is called as ATAL. So most of them aware of this ATAL FDPs per academic year. So maximum 4 FDPs are allowed. So everyone, if anyone not yet enrolled, immediately you can enroll and attend. So all are 1 week FDPs. So per year you will get 4 FDP certificates. So the minimum requirements for ATAL FDP. So minimum 80% attendance needs to be maintained. Then minimum 60% of marks in the assessment test at the end of the day conducted by respective ATAL FDP coordinators of that particular college. So easily you will get 4 FDP certificates per year, 1 week FDPs. So like that, other resources as per the regulatory bodies mentioned in the qualifications, you can go through and accordingly you can plan. So to fill the gaps, so where we are having gaps, identify all the gaps, we have to fulfill all the requirements time to time. Every year commonly, you can make checklist of all these as per the requirements. Okay, thank you. For any queries, you can contact me through mobile or email ID at any time. So thank you one and all for patiently listening this session. Hope this session is useful. So now by following all this, we can fulfill the requirements where we are lagged.